Well, the Adani storm has now hit the parliament, with the opposition demanding a probe into the entire incident after the shares of Adani crashed in the Sensex, after which a decision was also taken by the Adani group to withdraw the FPO. Now the opposition leaders united in their demand of a probe into the entire alleged wrongdoings by the Adani group. In fact, the opposition leaders have claimed that the government had forced public institutions to invest in the Adani group, including LIC as well as the SBI. The opposition leaders now demanding a discussion, after which both Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha have been adjourned.
अडानी, LIC और SBI के मुद्दे पर
बात अभी तो राष्ट्रपति का भाषण का जो धन्यवाद प्रस्ताव पे चर्चा होगा उसमें सब कुछ होता है ना.
The opposition has raised several questions. In fact, the opposition leaders also held a press conference right outside the parliament where they said that the government was not ready for a discussion. The opposition says that there have been several irregularities. The Hindenburg report speaks about stock manipulation as well as huge debts of the Adani group. My colleague Aishwarya as well as Arunil Saradekar joining us on the broadcast. Aishwarya, on expected lines, as the opposition had been saying, the Adani storm hitting the parliament, after which Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha have been adjourned for the day. What are the key demands of the opposition? Because the government says we're ready for a discussion, but the opposition says that there are a few demands. Until the government agrees, this is going to continue.
Well, that's right. In total, 9 political parties decided to protest against the government on the adjournment notices that they served to discuss on the Adani issue. They clearly stated that a JPC should be constituted to investigate into the entire controversy that erupted in and around Adani, and they also said that if not JPC, if government is not willing to do so, then a former retired Supreme Court judge should investigate into it, because there are a lot of money that has been involved in the investment of SBI and LIC, which ultimately had invested in the Adani groups of companies, and therefore the reason perhaps it is a huge fear as to there could be a huge loss to the common public, and therefore the reason they said that before discussing on the presidential address and budget, they wanted to discuss on this entire issue, and therefore the reason perhaps 9 political parties came over here at Vijay Chowk and they holded a joint press conference. Still, there are many others who are here. As far as the political parties leaders are concerned, Sanjay Singh from the Aam Aadmi Party joining with me as well. Sanjay sir, just one question to you, sir, because 9 political parties today. बस एक सवाल
बाइट दे देने दीजिए सर, मैं दे रहा हूं आपको बात, अभी बात कर रहा हूं, अभी बात कर.
Well, Sanjay Singh and from the other political parties also over here, and several parties from the south also had joined. Like-minded parties were called. Remember, it was a meeting that was called by Mallikarjun Kharge today of all the like-minded parties of the opposition, and they clearly had made a strategy that they wanted to corner the government on the front of the discussion on the Hindenburg report that came in, because they had clearly stated that there could be a fear as to many could lose a lot of money, because they said that in the last 5 to 7 days 27% of the shares were dropped, and those were the public money that has been involved in the Adani group of companies, of the institutions of like SBI and other LIC as well, and the other local banks as well. And therefore the reason perhaps today what we saw is that it was the RBI who jumped in and stated that and asked the details from the local banks about the exposure to Adani groups. But certainly the politics over the entire issue is growing day by day.
Absolutely. So after the Adani Enterprises stock prices crashed over 28%, it called off its 20,000 crore follow-on public offer. But the opposition leader saying that this calls for a probe because public money has been lost. They claim that the LIC as well as the SBI had been forced to invest in the Adani Enterprises.
We are being joined by Mr. Karthi Chidambaram. Thank you so much, sir, for speaking to us. My first question to you is that the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha both have been adjourned just because the ruckus in the parliament and the adjournment notices that you have given in the parliament.
See, in a mature, transparent market economy country, the person heading the economic portfolio would have squarely addressed the concerns about the institutional oversight failure highlighted by international publications head on. But here we only have silence. While the concerned entity is a private entity, there are institutional mechanisms which have obviously not done their jobs.
Right.
So the government must explain the oversight mechanisms of SEBI, RBI, whether they were all robust and whether they were all functioning. And further, there is public money invested in these in the markets, and this public money is by two institutions where the vast majority of Indians have great faith in them: State Bank of India and Life Insurance Corporation. So it's incumbent upon the government to explain the rationale of the investment and whether those investments are safe and whether public deposits and public policies are safe.
What are your major demands? We have heard that there are two major
demands. I think the first thing is the government must explain. My government must explain about the institutional oversight failure. If there was any failure at all, the government must come and say, no, the institutional oversight was perfect. They must explain that, but the government is only maintaining a silence.
There is also a demand of forming a committee and then the inquiry by the CGI.
The leadership of the parties asked it, but at least we should start by the government responding. If the government responds, then we can respond and then we can take it forward. But the government is only maintaining silence.
How do you see, sir, the FPOs being called off?
See, the markets have their own logic. And this has happened according to a market logic, and the market reacts to its own reality. But what I am concerned about is about the oversight of institutional oversight and about public money being invested, the rationale behind public money being invested, and whether public money is safe which is invested in these institutions.
Thank you, sir.
So there you have it. That's a reaction from the opposition saying public money has been lost. Remember, the Adani groups have lost as much as $100 billion after sell-off. But the opposition saying that these are institutions where public money is. LIC as well as SBI, people across the country have invested their hard-earned money in these companies. These companies were forced to invest in the Adani enterprises, and now that the money has been lost, it is the people who are at loss. The opposition making a demand, asking for a joint parliamentary committee probe into the Adani stocks.
घटनाएं आज देश में आर्थिक दृष्टि से घोटाले हो रहे हैं, उसके बारे में एक आवाज में सदन में उठाना ये हमारा सबका मकसद है। इसीलिए हमने एक नोटिस दी थी 267 के तहत। मैं आपके लिए वो पढ़ के बताऊंगा ताकि उसमें क्या चीजें हमने लिखी है। दैट This House do suspend 0 hour and relevant rules relating to question hour and other businesses of the day to discuss the issue of investment by LIC, public sector banks and financial institutions in companies losing market value. ये हमारा नोटिस है और ये नोटिस पे हम चर्चा चाहते थे, लेकिन हर वक्त हमारे नोटिसेस रिजेक्ट होते हैं और हमारा डिमांड यही है चर्चा कराओ, और हमारी मांग ये है कि या तो जॉइंट पार्लियामेंट्री कमेटी बनाओ और इसकी इंक्वायरी करो, या नहीं है तो सुप्रीम कोर्ट के चीफ जस्टिस के नेतृत्व में कमेटी बनाकर इसको इंक्वायरी कराइए और डे टू डे रिपोर्ट बाहर करते जाइए।
देखिए, अडानी के झूठ और फ्रॉड का जो पहाड़ है वो ताश के महल की तरह धीरे धीरे गिर रहा है, और जब वो ताश के महल की तरह गिर रहा है तो इस देश के करोड़ों निवेशकों के मन में चिंता है। जिन लोगों ने अपना पैसा LIC में लगा रखा है, जिन लोगों ने अपना पैसा SBI में लगा रखा है, क्योंकि हजारों लाखों करोड़ के लोन SBI और LIC ने अडानी को दे रखा है। भारत के प्रधानमंत्री को सामने आके लोगों की चिंता दूर करनी चाहिए। भारत की वित्त मंत्री को सामने आकर ये बताना चाहिए कि RBI क्या कर रही है, सेबी क्या कर रही है, ED क्या कर रही है, सीबीआई क्या कर रही है? इतने बड़े भ्रष्टाचार पर अब तक पूरी सरकार खामोश क्यों है?
Kanimojji, and a prominent face from the opposition, ma'am, what are your demands as an opposition in the parliament over this entire Adani Enterprises issue?
We want, many of the political parties are demanding a JPC. We want a proper investigation into what has happened, and we want justice for the people, the ordinary citizens of the country who've invested in LIC and also in the public banks like SBI. It is a lifetime earning and saving, and for me, especially when it comes to LIC, it is the security which people want to leave behind for their next generation, for their children. So all that has been put to question today, and we want justice for these people.
How do you see the FPOs of 20,000 crores being called off yesterday? Late night statement was issued and a video has also been come up saying that it will be morally incorrect to go forward with the FPOs.
We are saying the whole thing is morally incorrect, and we want an investigation, proper investigation into what has happened. You can't accept knee-jerk, responses to everything and close a blind eye to what has happened.
You demand a discussion or demand a formation of a joint parliamentary committee?
As I told you, many parties are insisting on a joint parliamentary committee, and we also want a proper discussion in the parliament regarding this, and this is the stand of the DMK.
All right. So this was Kanimojji from DMK speaking exclusively to Times Now, putting forward their demands on the Adani Enterprises issue. With cameraman Mahindra, this is Tesh reporting for Times Now from Delhi.
देखिए, हमारी डिमांड चर्चा नहीं है। हमारी डिमांड ये है कि संयुक्त संसदीय समिति से इसकी जांच होनी चाहिए, जॉइंट पार्लियामेंट्री कमेटी से इसकी जांच होनी चाहिए, और ये मांग हम अभी 11 बजे जब सदन चलेगा इसको उठाएंगे। अगर सरकार इस मांग को नहीं मानेगी तो जो भी उक्त कार्रवाई होगी वो करेंगे। हमारा ये मानना है कि जो मुद्दे उठाए गए हैं अगर वो सही है, वो बहुत ही गंभीर है, और सिर्फ सेबी या आरबीआई या किसी सरकारी जांच एजेंसी की जांच से काम नहीं चलेगा। जॉइंट पार्लियामेंट्री कमेटी, संयुक्त संसदीय समिति से इसकी विस्तृत जांच जरूरी है।
डिबेट होना चाहिए, ये तो मुल्क का मसला है। एक तरफ दुनिया में तीसरे नंबर पे अमंग द रिचेस्ट मैन अडानी जी आए। वो कैसे आए? रातों रात। यहाँ तो इतने बड़े सारे और भी सारे लोग हैं, एशियन कॉन्टेक्स्ट में आप देखिए, बरसगीर में देखिए आप, लेकिन अडानी आज से 4 साल पहले या 8 साल पहले कहीं नाम ही नहीं था गौतम अडानी जी का। तो इन्होंने अचानक ये छलांग कैसे मारी?